So I had ranching from 1865 to 1900. So the first drives were made by the Texans in 1865 when they realized that there was a large demand for cattle up north. And so they loaded their cattle onto trains and went up north, and the picture is where they went with their cattle. And ranching and railroads kind of grew at the same time because as the demand for beef grew, they needed railroads as well because beef could only be transferred by railroad because it didn't really have a long shelf life, so it needed to be refrigerated and transported quickly. And then this picture is ranchers loading their cattle onto trains to be brought up north. Let me see. And on these long drives, ranchers or cowboys branded their cattle so their cattle could be pulled apart from another rancher's cattle so they wouldn't get confused with who owned what. And then this slide is just showing some of the symbols that they'd use to brand their cows. And products from cattle, which obviously the biggest one is beef, and then leather, and then one that I didn't know was fertilizer, which they'd crush up their skulls and it'd be made into fertilizer.
I like that last period. That's disturbing.
Yeah, and this picture is a ton of bison skulls about to be ground up into fertilizer, which is like just ridiculous because there's so many. And some problems with ranching was the farmers and Native Americans didn't like the kind of open grazing policy that they had, where they bring their cattle up north and they just let them graze sort of wherever they wanted to. And the cowboys would let their cattle graze on either farmers' lands or Native American lands, and so they'd occasionally get attacked by Native Americans. And another problem was the Pleasant Valley War, which wasn't really war, it was more of a feud between two families in Pleasant Valley, but it was between the cattle herding Graham family and the sheep herding Tewksbury family, and it started because both wanted the land, and it lasted for 10 years and killed off 33 people, which is mostly all males in both families. And the end of the open range came in around 1890 when ranchers had overgrazed their plains, which meant they couldn't have as many cattle, and overstocking their plains led to a downfall in price. And in 1886 there was a drought that dried up the fields, and following that there was a winter where the temperature hit negative 43 degrees Celsius. So that just destroyed the plains in one year. And so after that, like Sarah said, they started using barbed wire to kind of keep others out of they kind of respected the like property lines more because of that. And so they started using barbed wire to keep other ranchers out.